Welcome to Mike's Mr. October and more. So, I'm holding up two baseball cards, as you can see, of two Hall of Famers. And in case you do or do not know, today is Veterans Day, so I'm doing a Veterans Day edition. So, I gotta turn around the camera, but I gotta show you some experiences, photos of my father, who did 28 years in the U.S. Army as enlisted and as an officer. And I got to show you some photos of some people he knew. But I just want to take this time out to thank all past and present and future U.S. veterans. We hold a deep gratitude to you all, and I really appreciate it. And everybody else should appreciate your service. So without further ado, oh yeah, another thing, I wore this special shirt and I wore this pin in honor of my father, who was with the MACV in 1965 in Vietnam in an armored unit. But I got to turn around the camera and I got to tell you a little bit about Warren Spahn and Ted Williams and name some other famous celebrities and players. So let's turn around the camera and take a look. So here we are, and here's Ted Williams as a manager for the Washington Senators. And Ted Williams was in the U.S. Navy from 42 to 46 in World War II. And then again, United States Marine Corps in 52 and 53. He obtained the rank of captain. And believe it or not, he was the wingman for John Glenn. And as we know, became a future astronaut and U.S. Senator to the state of Ohio. Next combat vet is the great pitcher, Hall of Famer Warren Spahn. He received the Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and he was a combat engineer, and he was at the Battle of the Bulge. Now, I'm going to show you a mug from my father, which is the regimental distinctive insignia of the 11th Armored Cav. I'm going to get into that a little later. But if you look like at all these movies like The Dirty Dozen, like James Telly Savalas and all those actors, all of them were like in World War II. And as growing up as a kid, you never knew that. And second of all, James Garner, he was in the U.S. Merchant Marine, and then he in World War II, and then he was in the Korean War and received 2 Purple Hearts. Telly Savalas, you name it, all U.S. combat vets. And look at Rocky Blyer, Vietnam vet, Purple Heart, severely injured. And look at him, he won 4 Super Bowl rings for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But anyway, I'm going to show you some photos. And the first one is going to be my great Uncle Ralph. And this is him as a sergeant. He was in World War I, and he received the Silver Star and Croix de Guerre for gallantry. And the story goes is that he was in a foxhole during a barrage, and an officer jumped into the foxhole, told him to get out. He vacated, and during the barrage, so the story goes that a shell came in and killed the officer. And then he was also a World War II vet, Uncle Ralph. And he served in the Philippines, mainly in the Signal Corps. And he obtained the rank of captain. And then you can see the Signal Corps and then his decorations there. So thank you very much, Uncle Ralph. And matter of fact, Uncle Ralph's older sister was a nurse who served in World War I in France. And then I got to show you a picture of my father in a search and destroy mission in December of 1965. I love this photo of my father. Just a great photo. I love the old flak jacket. And then you can see the insignia here for MACV and the old fatigues and the helmet he's stepping on, calling in. And this is a very unique veteran. And there's Private First Class 0. And my father writes here, keeps his eye on things from the top of the camel bunker. And the story goes that Private 0, a great big beloved molted Great Dane that was the mascot in the 1st Battalion, 61st Infantry Mechanized 5th Infantry Division. He belonged to the communications platoon sergeant and could often be seen riding in the back of a camo jeep or in the crew hatch of a battalion communications armor personnel vehicle carrier at Quang Tri Combat Base or Fire Support Base Charlie 2 on the DMZ. This is where my father was on the DMZ, second tour of combat, looking into North Vietnam. Although reduced to private for refusing to go out on perimeter guard duty on a rainy night during the monsoons, he was still a private first class in the hearts and minds of the men of the 61st Infantry. So thank you for your service. Next one is going to be Medal of Honor recipient right there, Lieutenant Colonel Andre Lucas. My father and him served together in Fort O'Reilly, Kansas, with the 24th Infantry Division. And he received the Purple Heart. He was killed in action on July 23rd, 1970. He was with the 2nd Battalion, 506th Infantry, 101st Airborne. He was in a battle at Fire Support Ripcord, which was nearby where my father was at the time. From July 1st to July 23rd, 1970. And here's another photo. See, same flak jacket and helmet as my father. Just love that. And if you ever get a chance, if you're into reading history, I would suggest Ripcord, Screaming Eagles, Under Siege. Great book, great read. Great photos in here. I read it. I'll probably read it another time again. So my mother even remembers speaking to Andre Lucas at the Officers Club and parties and things like that. Next one is going to be Major General Lloyd Austin. My father knew. World War II, Korean and Vietnam vet. This one, everybody's going to know of his father. And this is Colonel George S. Patton IV. And there's the 11th Armored Cav insignia patch. He became a 2-star general, Major General. Just love this photo. His father, as we know, is George S. Patton. And my father and George E. Patton served together. And I'm going to show you a photo of both of them together. And here we go. Here's a photo. Here's my father. You always knew my father because he was always the shortest. That's my father. And there's Patton, George S. Patton, when he was a major. You'll never find a photo anywhere of George S. Patton as a major. So we were both with the 11th Armored Cav. This was taken in September of 1960 in Straubing, Germany. Found that very unique. Next one is my father's commanding general, Brigadier General John Hill. Right here. That was my father's boss. You can see he also was with the 101st. Next one is going to be 4-star General Creighton Abrams. My father personally knew. I have it somewhere and I can't find it, but my father saved a dinner invitation. My father sat down and had dinner with Creighton Abrams in 1970. A formal invitation I have somewhere my father kept. And as you know, you're probably familiar with the Abrams tank. And that's who was named after. My father personally knew this gentleman. Okay, and I'm going to show you another one. And my father served together with General Kelly. Here it says 2-star general. They served together in Germany with the 11th Armored Cav also. And I got a story to tell you about that. And when I was in college in 1984, my father had some business to do down in Fort Dix, New Jersey. So my father says, well, you want to come along? I'm like, yeah, sure, Dad. So we went to see General Kelly, and there was schmoozing, you know, running up on old times. He walked into this office, and he had this big, huge office with the flag with the 2 stars. And then he says, well, how would you like to go to a military parade? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? What, I got to turn down a general? So what happened, we went to the military parade, and I happened to meet this gentleman. And he was a brigadier general at the time, and this is General Bolin. Later became a major general, and at that time when I met him, he was the commandant of cadets at West Point. Got a chance to meet him, rub albums with him, and you know, when you're in college, you're like, you think you're the coolest thing and everything else. So that was really neat. And then here's General Kelly again. He later became a 3-star general, and if you ever watched some of the communications and news during the first Persian Gulf War, he was the spokesman at the Pentagon, right on national TV. He did all the talking, gave you all the war updates. And I'm going to show you one other photo of me, and you may recognize this guy. And this is General Milley. Had a chance to meet him, and here it is. Me and General Milley met at Rutgers University a few years back. There's me with a goatee. I don't wear a goatee anymore. My wife hates it. But before he did his speech, I said, well, here's my chance. Nobody was near him or talking to him, so I went up to him, got a photo with General Milley, 4-star general. And the last thing I'm going to show you is my father's military decorations, the combat infantry badge, and then his 2 Bronze Stars, meritorious service, medal, Army commendation. There's other stuff here I don't even know. I forgot. And there's his rank. He obtained the rank of major, and then if you're X amount of years in armor, my father was in armor. I forgot this one. I think it's with the general staff. You get that. So anyway, I thought I'd just show a little bit of, you know, baseball cards, my father's experiences in the military, people who you knew and met. So I just want to thank everybody who watched and listened to this. Again, everybody, thank your vet. And if there's any vets out there listening, wish you the best on Veterans Day. And any people who do YouTube channel out there who collect baseball cards, thank you too. I'd like to hear from you. So if you'd like to, you know, give me 1 or 2 thumbs up. Any comments, I'd love to hear them. And thanks again for watching my channel. And thanks for watching Mike's Mr. October and more.